work with me, right? It needs to make sense. Sorry, it needs to make sense for the both of the parties, the seller and the realtor, for it to make sense all together, right? Because you know what, this seller might be willing to work with an agent, but they might want to only pay 0.5%, and for you as an agent, that's not going to work. So the same way as if they didn't want to work with someone, it has to work for you, it has to work for them. So to answer your question, CJ, I know I rambled on a little bit, but how I set myself apart is really just providing a service and helping them and being that helpful voice that they're not used to hearing, even before they've given me the appointment, even before anything. I give them tips and tricks to help them make their lives easier. Like one of them is I tell them like, hey, if you're not looking to work with an agent, just a quick little piece of advice. I work enough with for sale by owners to know the struggles and to know what you guys deal with. And 150 to 200 calls a day is annoying, and I get it. Just put on there in the notes, I already have an agent, or that you have someone lined up, or you have a family. That way they see that, and at least you limit the realtors that are calling you to get the listing. So, they hear that and they're like, you know what? If I'm not the first one on their line, they're like, you know what? You're the first person that's told me that. I appreciate it. And that does two things. It's reverse psych. It's you're really helping yourself, but you're also playing reverse psychology, making them feel like you're helping them. The less people calling them, the better it is for you. Because when they don't sell that house, they're limited on who they really have to pick from, right? And you're going to continue to follow up and have conversations. And just touch on another thing that was mentioned in the group chat today. I'm going to go back and read it just because I want to see exactly how it was worded. Uh, uh, um, where is it? I can't see it now. Look like. Okay. Relentless sounds aggressive, but consistent follow up, for me, what it looks like is I want to follow up with you enough to where I'm not annoying you, but I still stay top of mind. Okay. How do I follow up with someone, especially a seller, without annoying them? And it's the way that I see it is and my strategy to following up, it's in our initial conversation, I try to connect on some level, right? And I try to figure out a little bit about what's going on in their situation that has them wanting to sell, etc. And I usually follow up with just having conversation about how are they doing, how has things been going for them, if do you guys have any questions, you know, now that you got done your showing, if you've gotten any offers, I would love to help you guys filter through those and give you any advice about that. Hey, are you guys going to be doing an open house? I want to give you some pointers if you are. Little things like that, right? Like at the end of the day, if these people are going to sell without you, they're going to sell without you. And if you're helping them with few pointers, tips, and tricks, whether you give them these pointers, tips, and tricks or not, and they were going to sell without you, they were going to sell without you regardless. So if you give them these points and tricks, they're just going to see you as somebody that's there to actually help, and not somebody that's like, oh my God, this person is annoying. They keep asking me to come see the house. They keep asking me for the listing. They keep asking me for the listing. They have commission breath, right? So for me, that follow up, and let's say not only on the for sale by owner piece, but like on a buyer side, it's really just following up enough to keep yourself top of mind and to show them like, hey, I'm doing this for a reason. So I'll give you an example. I have a buddy of mine that I haven't spoken to in a pretty long time, but he responded to one of my stories on Instagram about getting pre-qualified and taking advantage of hometown heroes. And I started talking to him about a month ago, right? And he hasn't he wasn't filling out his application, wasn't filling out his application. So I'm not every single day. I'm not like, hey Renee, remember you got to fill out your application. Hey Renee, fill out your application. Hey Renee, fill out your application. I'll check in with him every 3 or 4 days. I'll check in with him, but I want to check in with him and him understand why I'm checking in with him. Like, hey, I know you want to take advantage of the hometown hero program. Just want to let you know, here's where we're at. I'll actually send him a screenshot of where the funds were on the hometown hero program, so that he sees exactly why I'm following up, and that I'm just trying to pressure him into buying a house. But like, hey, I'm looking out for you, etc. So on a seller side, you know, I bring value and I talk about why I'm asking the questions that I'm asking. Um, once I get to that point, but usually the first of the conversations is like, how's it been going? Have the realtor call stopped, or are you still seeing a lot of those? Have you had any luck with buyers yet? Things like that. But very like normal conversations, nothing like, hey, can I come see the house, or have you decided to list with an agent yet? Or no, none of like that. Like that all is all very intrusive, very commissiony breathy. Okay,
Okay. Thank you.
absolutely. Um, I do want to talk on the social media posts, guys, because as part-timers, one thing that you have access to, even if you're not creating video, is social media. All right. Everything else on this slide is calling, expired listings, geo leads. Geo leads is very simple. Danny talked about starting to hit geo leads. If you have any listings, or if you want to call geo leads, pick any listing from lifestyle. You have access to them and call the surrounding neighbors. And it's a very easy approach. It's very non cold cally, because you're cold calling, but you're really just calling to offer a service. And it's basically, hey, I just, we sold, I can get you guys a script if you want it, but it's very simple. We just sold the property in your area, ended up going over appraisal, got, broke the record in the community, wanted to just kind of call you to let you know that we're providing free market analysis to the neighbors. So if you had any interest in that, I'd love to, chat with you further, or send you an email with some details. And that's it. That's very simple geoleading. Okay. Shannon, to your question around Facebook Marketplace. So on Facebook Marketplace, there's a certain amount of marketing that you can do, and look the neighbors up on white pages. For the neighbors, I use Mojo. So I'll do Mojo, and I'll off the Mojo list and go from there. Shannon, for the Facebook Marketplace, I really just post. I have my admin post uh properties that I want to target that price point. So like if I'm doing rental properties in this area, it's and I know North Carolina's a little bit different, so I'll just talk about sale and for sale and properties. Just post listings for sale. You guys can post any listings from that North Carolina has, or that Lifestyle has in North Carolina or even Florida, and just post them up for sale. If you're going to be posting somebody else's listing, just ask for permission and post their listing. It's very simple. It's just like that. And then again, a lot of it is hit or miss, because on Facebook, it's people ask like, is this available, and then never respond. I've gotten less traction on Facebook than I've gotten on Instagram through Facebook Marketplace. Facebook, there's still a lot of ways to get traction on there, but I would say off of Facebook Marketplace, you can probably create more using your followers and your friends and family. So with social media, the way that I see social media is, if you don't have at least 1 to 2 stories a day, real estate related, you're not the person that they're going to be thinking about when it comes down to real estate. Okay. You don't only have to market your properties, any property that we sell, and I know Sean talks about this probably till he's blue in the face, but any marketing that we sell, any just solds, any for sales, any coming soons, you guys have access to market any of these properties with your face on there, like if it was yours. Okay. One very different thing from Lifestyle and a lot of other firms is that you don't have to ask permission to market our properties. If it is a lifestyle property, you can put it wherever you want with your information as if it's yours, and market it as it's your own. Okay. So one thing that I would recommend is a social media post, whether it's posting wise is one thing, stories is another. And you need to find the right balance for both. So on a daily basis, part of your time blocking, all right, should have something in there to where you're going to make 1 or 2 stories, and a post, I would say at least every other day, okay, about real estate. Now the post piece, my trick and my rule for myself is I don't post unless I'm doing my own business. Obviously, I've held myself accountable to that just because that's the way I want to do it, but that's also me being full time, so I'm generating more business. However, for yourself, you can create yourself your own rule. What's your rule? What's your rule of thumb to drive yourself consistent, but also to hold yourself accountable. Okay. Now on the stories is all the time. The rule of thumb about stories that I always tell people is if you're posting a property, leave as much detail out as possible. What do I mean? If I'm posting a video tour of a property, I'm going to talk about the property, but I'm not going to talk about the price point, and I'm not going to talk about the location. Can anybody take a guess as to why I do that?
Because you want them to reach out to you for more information.
100%. So again, this is very different from YouTube when you're doing like a marketing ad for a specific community and your story post. On your stories, you wanna entice people to communicate with you. So if you leave out main details like that and somebody likes a property, they're gonna likely ask, hey, where's this located? Or hey, how much is this? Right? So what happens? You give yourself the opportunity to start a conversation with that person about real estate. And whether they're looking to buy right now or they're not, they're nosy about that property. So they might have some interest about what that property is. And if it's in the location they're looking or not, you might be able to have a conversation that's going to get them to, well, let me show you some properties like this in the area you are looking for in your budget, right? And you can start that conversation. So on Facebook and on Instagram, if you don't have them linked already, make sure you link them. Make your life easier. You post on one, they go everywhere. It goes on both. Same thing with like TikTok and I don't know if you have any other social medias. But that's my rule of thumb. If my story is empty, meaning I click on my name and there's no story, I'm slipping. Okay. And I can't tell you how much business I've driven just off social media. Last year alone, I would say at least 3 million in sales came from social media. Um, and that's listings and buyers. So I had two friends that actually sold and purchased with me. I had a few other people that reached out and then just purchased. And then another thing is when you're last year I sold a 1.3, it's actually more than 3 million last year. But I had a $1.3 million listing that came because my buddy's a lender. His dad was doing a fix and flip and he's like, "Hey, I know you've been doing really well. You've been, rocking out with listings. I want to kind of get your thoughts on what you think about this property that we're flipping." And I was there to see the property right away, and I hit it off with his dad, and everything went well, and I was able to list their house and sell it. So again,
Mhm.
if you are not top of mind when it comes down to real estate with all your
What
friends,
time does he stop at this thing?
what was that? I think they don't
He
have.
say he going all night, Dwayne.
I
Yeah,
think.
my bad. Didn't mean to interrupt. Apologies.
Oh, you're good. So guys, it's if you the whole point of social media is that's your way to make sure that everybody remembers that you are doing real estate as well. The way that I would see it as if I was a part-timer is because let's be honest, if you're not really doing anything, if you're not doing anything fun for work, you're probably not posting about your work on social media. So on your social media, people should potentially think that real estate is your full-time job and your part-time is your part-time. Or your full time is your part time. Sorry to say. So just be that constant reminder. Be adding value on your social media, whether it's your stories, your posts. You can add value. What you don't want your Instagram to look like is a newspaper. Okay. You want to put out content that relates to people. You want to put out informational content as well, but you also want to put out content like interior design work, um, video tours of properties is amazing. Right now, interest rates are very high. All right. Any incentives that you know of from pre-construction communities where they're buying down rates or whatever, putting out little hints of that without where the community is, how much the houses are, just like little things of like a video like, hey, I have a program running right now where we're actually this community is actually paying down interest rates from 8% to where they are right now to 5.25%, which is unheard of right now. Give me a call, shoot me a message if this is something you're interested in finding out more about. Little things like that is what's going to entice people. Little videos of nice, very nice properties with some music in the background is going to entice people, right? Being present and being out there is all you really need. Now, I'm going to end this on this note because it's already 8:10. I know you guys got stuff to get back to. If you are not creating a consistent schedule for yourself, which was the main conversation earlier in the call, and your calendar could be beautiful. It can be color coded. It can be set every single day to do certain things at a certain time. That's beautiful, right? If you have a beautiful calendar and you don't do ish about it, what's the point of having a beautiful calendar, right? So if you don't already have an accountability team, right? If you don't already belong to a platoon, make sure you join a platoon. And we will be relooking at platoons and starting up a new platoon contest very shortly. I would say beginning of October. But even if we don't have a contest going in at the moment, ask people how things are going with them on their platoons. And I could tell you, I know Danny, he's a part of Love and Dez's platoon, and he can attest to how great it's been just being surrounded by people that are doing work consistently and that are helping each other drive that consistency and that effort. Danny, you share light on that for the people that are not on platoons yet?
Yeah, I mean, you always have somebody. I know we have the big chat. However, a smaller chat where you can just go and have, dialogue and ask questions is definitely been help. As well as meeting and having meetings with the platoons and bouncing ideas off of them. Even doing one-on-ones as far as, calling. I know Dez and Love, really into the calling aspect. And they've sat down with me, I would say twice, both times I reached out to provide that for me. So I definitely believe these platoons have helped me grow, especially as a new agent and a part-time agent.
Yeah, and we see it, brother. You're killing it. Keep it going. Um, guys, it's all about support. It's all about being a part of something, and ultimately these platoons and what we want to accomplish with it is really just giving you guys someone that's doing this on a day-to-day basis. At the end of the day, Sean, Dwayne, Sir, Tijuana, Zen, myself, we cannot possibly handle all the agents and as we grow, handle everyone on our own. And these platoons is an opportunity for you guys to work together, to collaborate, and to grow together. All right. The reason why I wanted these platoons to come to fruition is exactly why from what Danny's talking about. When I started in real estate, I started as a part of a group. And with my group, I actually had to pay a split for every deal. But you know what? I thought it was I knew it was worth it because it helped me drive my business to another level that wasn't existing at the time. When I wanted to quit real estate, my team helped me up and kept my head up and kept me pushing. And if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't even be here right now. So as a part-time agent, you know, coming on and starting a career that's not even your full-time, that you're potentially maybe one day want to turn into your full-time, having that support system and being a part of the platoon is big. And just to reiterate what I said about the calendar, just like a calendar isn't going to work for you. A platoon isn't going to work for you. You have to work for it. If you create a calendar and you work for it, it's going to work for you. If you become a part of a platoon and you work for it, it's going to work for you. So it's about collaborating with your agents that are your fellow lifestyle agents, but it's also about bringing ideas to the table and seeing, what's working for you, what's working for them, and then working together to help everyone achieve, greatness. Okay. Um, any last questions that anybody has in here? Anything at all?
Hey, Mike, just to again, piggyback, my team was able to win the last contest solely because I believe that, apart from having some really strong agents, we really did put in quite a bit of effort to improve our skill sets. One of which was, meeting, 2 days a week just to talk about lead generation. So these are the things that are highlighted in the business that you need to do, but having it in a platoon, it really creates a bit more engagement, a bit more energy. We had a power hour where I would start up a Zoom at around 9:30, and we would talk to each other for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then we jump into lead generation. So those power hours were very helpful, and that's the kind of influence you're going to get if you join the platoon.
Yeah, and that was a humble brag post, but realistically speaking, Dwayne has done a great job, leading that team and creating the atmosphere. And I say humble brag post because he said they won, but they did win. They have a caller all month that's calling to lead generate and get them leads, geo leads in particular. But the big thing is, guys, like for example, here as part-timers, even if you're part of platoon and they're not meeting on Saturdays, or they're not game planning to meet together on a Saturday. Like you guys have something that everyone else doesn't. You got a full-time job Monday through Friday, so Saturday, Sunday is your bread and butter, really. To be able to get out there and get in front of people. So even as a part-time team, if you guys aren't already getting together, I would maybe consider it, right? If you see a leader within yourselves as part-timers, talk about, hey, how can we help push each other as part-timers? We're all sharing the same situation. We're all going through the same stuff, the same challenges. So how can we help meet, even if it's not creating your own platoon, it's how can we get on a Saturday, go to the office and really talk and meet about, what are the struggles we're seeing, what are the wins, and you do that once a month, and all the other Saturdays you get together to work together, right? There's a ton of opportunity and a ton of potential. I would just say, it's your choice on how you figure out, how do I execute to bring out that potential in me, and how do I drive that consistency and hold myself accountable to make sure that, what, I'm a part-time, but I'm not going to let that be my, my crutch as to why I'm not making it in real estate. Okay. So guys, thank you all so much for your participation. CJ, Shannon, Amanda, those who spoke up, Danny, Dwayne, appreciate you guys for giving your input. Next time I want to see more interaction from the other ones. I'm gonna push you guys to, even if we're in PJs, I'm in PJs right now, it's okay. I want to see faces next week. So on Tuesday, I want to talk about how this is going. Hey, girl. What's up, Amanda?
Amanda made sure she showed her face. I see.
Yeah.
You gonna call me out?
Yeah.
Her son
So
made sure she got the target.
Amanda, I was thanking you for participating because even though your face wasn't on there, you were talking. But yeah, next Tuesday, I want to see everybody's face. I want a little bit more interaction from those who didn't speak. And I want us to kind of keep this going. So next week we'll follow up. I want to hear, how's your calendar blocking going? How's your time blocking going? What have you been doing? On today's Thursday. On Tuesday, I want to hear what your weekend was like. I believe I'm still here on Tuesday. If it's not me, I think it's Dwayne, but I'll be in there regardless. But I definitely want to hear how this is going for you guys. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Oh, thank
Thank
you guys. Y'all have a great night and enjoy your weekend.
You too.
As well.
Bye, guys.